2 months is too little. They let him go. They had no sudden healing. To think that Providence would take a child from his mother while she prays is appalling. Who told us we'd be rescued? What has changed, and why should we be saved from nightmares? We're asking why this happens to us who have died to live. It's unfair. This is what it means to be held, how it feels when the sacred is torn from the light and you survive. This is what it is to be loved and to know that the promise was when everything fell, we'd be held. This hand is bitterness. We want to taste it, let the hatred numb our sorrow. The wise hand opens slowly to lilies of the valley.
Many children these days, unfortunately, are not raised by their own biological parents. Unfortunately, it's due to the fact that there has been some form of child abuse or child neglect. Now, that's a large category. One form of child abuse and child neglect that I personally experienced with raising two extended family members was parents' inability to supply basic needs. Basic needs in this case was food, diapers, clothing, medical needs, shelter, emotional needs. Now, emotional needs can look like this. Sometimes babies are not held enough. They can cause psychological issues. It's called desertion detachment disorders. These are just a few of many. The first couple years of a child's life is very, very pertinent, and what they experience can affect them for the rest of their life.
So most of you know my story about me being physically abused and neglected, but none of you know the detail to it. I haven't told anybody outside of my immediate family until today. So, May 1st, 1997 was the day that I was born. My mom didn't know whether I was coming out white or black. Between the first and 5th month of my life, I've been told that my mom, when she couldn't stop me from crying, she would turn up the music on the stereo all the way and just lay me down on the floor and walk away. My dad was never at home, so he never experienced any of this at all. He was a cross-country truck driver, and when my mom couldn't take care of me, he did, but him taking care of me meant passing me from family member to family member, and I would just come home with lice or scabies, which is body lice. At 5 months old, my mom ran off with another man who is now my stepfather. And between my 5th and 6th month of my life, I was sexually molested by a family member of mine. At 6 months old, my grandma left my grandfather to start a new life with me and my brother and just a couple of our things. By the time I was 1.5 years old, my grandmother had legal guardianship of me, meaning that she was that I had been given to her by the state of Wisconsin. My mom and dad's parental rights were not terminated and still are not terminated, so they have some say in what happens with me, but I'm old enough now to make my own decisions, thankfully. You know, the first year and a half to 2 years of my life was really bad, and I know that what I went through was not even close to what some kids have gone through, and I feel for those kids. You know, this is me taking a stand to show the world what I have been through and what a lot of other kids are going through. The wounded recognize the wounded, and from my standpoint, I need to be the voice for those who cannot speak for themselves. I've always loved to help other people. It's always been something that's been a part of me. And me sitting here at 17 years old today, it hasn't stopped. I will be the voice for those who cannot speak for themselves, because the wounded do recognize the wounded.
If hope is born of suffering,